During your studies at UOIT and well beyond your studies into your professional career, you're going to be doing a lot of writing, as I discussed in the professional writing video. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to create good writing habits. That is, how to create habits that enable you to concentrate on your writing, to write well, and get a lot of writing done so that you can meet the requirements of your courses, get your assignments done on time without stressing yourself out, and at a reasonable pace. So this is the outline of the topics that we're going to cover in this learning module. So to begin with, why do we need to develop good writing habits? Well, writing is hard. It's hard to find the time to write. It's hard to manage one's time to write regularly. It's hard to create the space so that we can concentrate uninterrupted. Writing can sometimes be very difficult work. So it is important to cultivate good writing habits so that we can cultivate good writing skills. One of the reasons why people often don't write a lot or don't get their writing done in general is that they encounter barriers to writing a lot. And many of these barriers are really our own assessments of our own writing, really our excuses about why we can't write. So for example, I can't find the time to write. Thinking along this line is a major barrier to writing, or I would write if I had large blocks of time. I need to set aside large blocks of time for writing, otherwise I can't do it. These are if you think this way, this will prevent you from getting your writing done. Or I need to keep thinking about and reading about the topic. Or how about this one? I need a new computer. Or I need a printer. Or I need a new desk. Or I need a chair. I can't get my writing done if I don't have these things. Again, these are barriers to getting your writing done. I write best when I'm inspired. Well, if you actually follow what happens with good writers, with very productive writers, they don't wait until they're inspired. They create good writing habits so they write regularly. They don't wait for the inspiration to come. Writing becomes habitual. Or perhaps one of the biggest barriers, I have writer's block. There's something preventing me from writing. So if you engage in these thoughts, you're going to find it difficult to write. You have to overcome each one of these. If you think you can't find the time to write, you have to overcome it. And that's what we're going to work on in this lesson. Or I would write more if I had large blocks of time. Actually, you can write quite a lot if you devote small amounts of time regularly to writing and get in the habit of writing. It doesn't have to be a barrier. You need a new computer or printer or desk or chair. If you get in the habit of writing, you can write regardless of your computer, your printer, desk, or chair, as long as what you have is workable. Again, the belief that you have to be inspired to write, this is something you need to get over. You need to have a habit of writing. And writer's block will be overcome if you develop these habits. So let's get over these barriers to writing and develop some practical skills, some organizational skills so that we can do that. The next topic that I wanted to touch on just briefly is binge writing. There's a whole separate video that I want you to watch on binge writing. It's on the WebCT page. You'll really like this one. But binge writing is basically where you save up your writing of an assignment until close to the time that it's due. So if you've had a month or two to work on an assignment and you work on it in the past couple of days, that's binge writing. Doing a lot of writing all at once. This is not a very good schedule. People who binge write, maybe some people can pull it off. For most people, the product is not the best that they can do. The best work that you can do comes from developing good writing habits and writing regularly so that you don't have to binge write. Another problem with binge writing, a couple of other problems with binge writing. One problem with binge writing is that it's stressful. Why create extra stress in your life from binge writing when you can be writing slowly, steadily, all along so that your work gets done on time. Why create that stress for yourself if you don't really need to? Another problem with binge writing is that often we save up our writing expecting there to be a block of time toward the end just before it's due, and stuff happens. Stuff happens to make it impossible to work on the writing at that last minute that you designated for it. Somebody gets sick, you have to travel, you have to work, other things come up that really cut into your binge writing time and make it even more difficult for you to get your work done. So avoid binge writing at all costs and develop good writing habits. Okay, so now let's focus on developing these good writing habits. How are we going to do this? The answer is that you come up with a schedule. You schedule your writing in the same way that you schedule other aspects of your life. You schedule your work, right? You schedule your classes. You set up in advance times that you know you're going to come to class, you know you're going to come to campus, you know you're going to come to work, you know what your schedule is going to be. Well, you can do the same thing with your writing. Pull out your calendar and designate some hours a week specifically for writing or for homework or for studying. Okay? So pull up your calendar, look at it. If you have a block of time, Monday, 11 o'clock to 12:30, block it in as time you're going to write or time you're going to study. Block out a certain amount of time, if you can, ideally every day, even if it's a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, or every other day. Many hours as you can afford to devote to your writing, to your homework. Write it right in your calendar and make an appointment with yourself to do it. And don't use that time for other things. Treat it as sacred as you would your work time, your class time, well, hopefully even more serious than your class time. So make an appointment with yourself, designate those hours, put it in your calendar for every week, ideally regular time, same time each week, and actually devote that time to your work. If somebody contacts you and says, hey, can you do something at this time? No, I have something else going on. You've scheduled your writing or you've scheduled your study time. And if you do this, if you designate time in your calendar every day, or at least several times a week, every week, reliably, you will find that you more easily fall into the habit of writing, of getting work done, or of studying, and you'll find that you don't have to resort to binge writing, and you'll make slow, steady, better progress on your assignments until the time that they're due. So that's one of the major ways of creating good writing habits. Okay, another major aspect of creating writing habits is finding space to write. Okay, and there are lots of options here, and different things work for different people. You may find it most effective to write at home. You may have a quiet place to write at home. You have lots of library space on campus. You can work in a coffee shop. Whatever works for you, find the place that is most conducive to writing for you and go there. Make that part of your habit. If you can't get to your writing space, don't give up your writing time. Write in a different space. So the key is finding the space in your calendar and finding the physical space to get your writing done or your studying done in general. So those are the basic elements of creating good writing habits. And for the assignment that you have due, I'm asking you to make an example of a set of study goals, weekly study goals, and study time. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Study goals are specific things that you need to accomplish within a week's time. So I put some examples on here. Write my 200-word assignment for the writing course. Spend 30 minutes conducting a literature search for articles for my term paper. Read chapter 3 of the textbook. complete the web-based assignment for my course, or edit my term paper from beginning to end. These goals are measurable. They're specific things that you can get done within this period. Notice I don't have goals like start my paper or do research on this topic, because those are not easily measured. They're vague. I want specific things that you can accomplish, or specific amount of time that you could spend on a project. Those are measurable goals. So other goals less easily measured are work on my term paper, read articles, search for relevant articles. Those are more vague. I want to see specific goals, such as those written up here. Okay? And what I want you to hand in is a chart like this. You put your name on it. You indicate specific writing or study days and times for the week. Okay? Go through your calendar and find those days and times and write them out. And then write down the goals that you set for the week. That's all I want you to do for this assignment, a sample chart of writing days and times and goals that you set for the week. It doesn't have to be devoted to just writing. It can be studying in general, considering all the work that you have to do for your classes. Don't put things on here like going to the gym, going shopping. Limit it to your university work, studying, or writing. That's what I want you to do for this writing assignment. But I will suggest to you in general that if you do this on a weekly basis, you indicate the goals that you need to accomplish during the week for all of your classes. You set aside the days and times that you're going to do this work, and then keep track on whether you met your goals or not. If you do this every week, you will have developed a very good habit of goal setting that will help you get your work done in a reasonable time and avoid the binge writing, the binge work that, number one, causes stress in your life, adds stress to your life, and two, leads you to turn in work that is not as good as you can do. So I do urge you, I don't require you to do weekly goals for your class, but I urge you to do it. It's a terrific habit to get into, and it will help you in your studies throughout your work at UOIT. Writing is hard. It's hard for me. It's hard for you. We need to work to overcome the barriers to writing a lot. We need to avoid at all costs binge writing, and we can do that by developing good habits, including creating a writing schedule, setting specific goals, and finding space to write. And keep in mind you have an assignment due, your study goals assignment.